Welcome to Hestify. Okay, before we even dive in, I want you to do me a quick favor. Just think back to the absolute last time you opened a fresh box of biryani. You know that exact moment, right? That puff of steam rising into the air, that incredible smell hitting you way before you even take your first bite. It's the strange, undeniable feeling that what you're about to eat is, well, way more than just food. Because biryani, it isn't just eaten, it's remembered. So, what if I told you that one of the world's most beloved dishes was actually never just about hunger? What if somewhere between ancient royal kitchens, crowded weddings, long train journeys, and those late night hostel food runs, biryani actually transformed into this massive emotional experience shared across entire generations? Today, we are uncovering the hidden story, the real architecture behind humanity's absolute obsession with this incredible dish. Alright, let's dive into the steam spice. Memory, just let those words linger in your mind for a second. Think about that massive sensory hit when the lid finally comes off the pot. You've got the rice glowing gold and white under the light, the rich aroma of cinnamon, cardamom, sweet caramelized onions, and that hint of smoke just wafting through the room before anyone even says a word. Look, plenty of foods can satisfy a rumbling stomach, but biryani became something so much deeper, moving right along to section 1, aroma, memory, and emotion. See, before a single bite of biryani ever actually reaches your tongue, it arrives somewhere else entirely first. It hits your memory. Let's walk through some of these incredibly universal triggers. We're talking about crowded wedding halls just glowing under warm lights, or those long train journeys where it's served stinging hot in little foil packets wrapped in yesterday's newspaper. Think about lazy Sunday afternoons where the whole house slowly fills up with the scent of saffron and steam, or even cramped hostel rooms at midnight with exhausted students huddled around single takeout container. Biryani just doesn't arrive quietly, does it? No, it announces itself emotionally. There's this undeniable, almost theatrical anticipation that builds around it, and literally a single whiff can instantly pull you back to these exact moments, even decades later. Which brings us to section 2, ancient roots and royal kitchens. So, to really understand exactly how biryani got this immense emotional power, you have got to trace it back. Let's move from our modern takeout boxes all the way back to ancient desert kingdom. Long before it was woven into a modern identity, its earliest ancestors were actually traveling along ancient trade routes. Back in the ancient era, Persian trade traditions were busy layering precious rice, which were expensive meats, and exotic, slow traveling spices. Then we hit the Mughal era, where Royal Indian kitchens took this concept and elevated the cooking into an absolute art form. And finally, the modern era, where the dish literally escaped the palace walls and found its way into our everyday delivery bags. It's fascinating because as these massive empires moved, the recipes moved with them. These migrating cultures were quite literally carrying the memories through flavor. I absolutely love this quote from our sources. Food was not only nourishment there, it was architecture. Think about those early Persian roots. Aroma, presentation, and texture weren't just afterthoughts. They were meticulously designed to create an entire experience, not just to fill the stomach. Picture it. Those dim candlelit royal halls, copper vessels so massively huge that could feed entire courts. Actually, some historical accounts claim the pods were so big the cooks actually needed ladders just to store them. Imagine servants carrying this incredibly fragrant rice through echoing marble corridors while rulers sat around discussing war, poetry, and building empires. So, the crucial point in all of this history is a technique called dum. This is the practice of actually sealing a cooking pot completely shut with dough to trap all the steam inside. And guys, this was a massive game changing culinary turning point in the Mughal kitchens of India. It was no longer just boiling or frying, it was literally transforming patience into aroma. By forcing all those volatile flavors to stay locked together in the dark, Baharinia evolved into something extraordinarily luxurious, layered, and emotionally complex. Just try to picture the rhythm and the sheer intention of those royal kitchens. You've got expensive saffron soaking into warm milk, turning it into liquid gold. Meat marinades resting overnight in thick yogurt with spices and smoke, the most delicate rice grains carefully kept long and separate. These massive pots simmering incredibly slowly over a low fire with the heavy scent of cardamom and cloves drifting through the palace air late into the night. The cooks were moving with this practiced, deliberate precision. Honestly, it was pure performance. And that leads us to section 3, many regions, many emotions, because history did something pretty unexpected here. Biryani totally escaped the palace walls and just absorbed the climates, the languages, and the cultures of the entire subcontinent. Look at Kolkata, for example, where you have this nostalgic, elegant, soft aromas, very gentle spice, and those totally iconic giant potatoes that were born out of Nawab Wajid Ali Shah's exile. But then you move down to Hyderabad and suddenly you get dramatic intensity. It's this rich, fiery, confident, and unapologetically loud aroma. Over in Lucknow, it shifts to poetic refinement, perfectly balancing fragrance with this royal legacy in every single grain. At south and Malabar brings the scorchous coastal warmth, heavily influenced by ocean trade routes and fragrant Kerala spices. And then places like Dindigul or Amber offer this bold simplicity, packaging tanginess and smokiness that perfectly reflects Tamil Muslim heritage. It's so cool because biryani basically stopped being this one monolithic royal thing and started belonging to regional memory. Essentially, every single version becomes a direct reflection of the people who make it. Think about that for a second. That is exactly what makes biryani so profoundly different from other foods. It literally adapts emotionally to its surrounding environment. Let's explore the science behind this in section 4, the psychology of anticipation. Yeah, what's really interesting about this is exactly how your brain responds before the meal even begins. It's a whole psychological cascade. Step 1, the steam and aroma hit you, creating this intense, almost crazy anticipation way before you actually taste anything. Step 2, the warm spice and the slow cooked richness signal comfort, safety, and a massive hit of reward to your brain. And step 3, the specific neural pathways fire up, instantly triggering social memories of family and belonging. People aren't just biologically craving the calories or the food itself, right? They're psychologically craving the exact feeling that's attached to it. As our sources perfectly put it, food becomes emotional when memories attaches itself to flavor. And that is so absolutely true. Biryani is rarely ever eaten emotionally alone. Even if you are physically sitting by yourself in a room, the flavor itself carries this heavy social memory of childhood Sunday lunches, laughing with your cousins, or just the pure comfort of finally being home after a really difficult day. Which brings us to our final act, section 5, the architecture of belonging. And this brilliantly illustrates the journey of the pot. Just look at the contrast. On one hand, you have the royal past, candlelit halls, massive copper vessels, and rulers casually discussing their empires. And then on the other hand, you have the modern present. Cramped hostel rooms, scrolling through late night delivery apps, and exhausted college students pooling their last few bucks together to order a single portion. But here's the magic. Despite moving from absolute untouchable luxury to fast paced, everyday modern context, biryani never once lost its universal emotional weight. So the biryani pops up basically wherever humans are celebrating togetherness. I mean, weddings and Eid mornings literally feel incomplete without it. You've got office workers passionately debating the absolute best lunch spots, viral food reels totally taking over our social media feeds, very travelers finding a little bit of warmth in those tiny foil containers at bustling train stations. It's the ultimate comfort brought home after a long, exhausting week. Biryani has literally become an emotional language all its own. It carries story of migration, homesickness, class, and family all layered together at once. The meal itself is social architecture, so this leaves us with one final, pretty wild thought. Maybe humans were never really only obsessed with biryani. Maybe, just maybe, we were only obsessed with the feeling of togetherness hidden inside it. The next time you open a freshly delivered pot and that incredible steam rises up into the air, just remember it's never just food, it's history, it's memory, and it's pure human connection, all layered carefully together under one lid. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning and keep sharing those moments.